Good evening, folks. I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about the first sample argumentative essay that we have posted to Blackboard. Kind of take you through it a little bit. Just briefly talk about its strong points and its maybe areas that it could be improved upon, and so on. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so this person takes a very interesting approach. He is arguing for the consideration of the possibility of the existence of a philosopher's stone and how that consideration isn't necessarily unscientific. Okay, so in his intro paragraph, if you read through this, you'll find that he kind of lays the parameter of kind of the history of what the philosopher's stone is purported to be, and so on and so forth. Basically, the idea is that the philosopher's stone is a catalyst to be added to base metals to allow the base metals to be turned into gold. Okay, and so then he interjects, and this is essentially his thesis, that it is perhaps short-sighted to dismiss that possibility out of hand simply based on our current understanding of science. And so he begins to engage with a number of sources to think about this possibility, some of them philosophical and some of them actually scientific, actually dealing with the attempts at changing base metals to gold using conventional means. So I do want to point in first of all, the reason that I included this as a sample is it is very thoughtful, and it's very well written in terms of technique. I do want to point out a couple of areas in which this author could have improved. Again, even the best essays are open for improvement, particularly in dealing with convention, i.e., MLA convention in this case. So right here you see this quotation mark, closing quotation mark after the in-text citation. This is incorrect. It should actually go here, and the period should follow the in-text citation. So he makes this error on a number of occasions here in this piece, and I just wanted to point that out to you. What he's doing very well is integrating the quoted material into his text and not taking up huge swaths of text quoting material that is not necessary. And he also, after he quotes the text, he sort of explains the context of the material that he's quoted relating to what the point that he's trying to make, which is the technique that I talked about in my last video. So he introduces sort of the philosophical rationale for his thesis, right? Then he further elucidates that in this next paragraph. Again, very similar error to the previous one here. What he does well is he's using a signal phrase and then giving the quotation and so forth. Now, for my mind, he could have gone on in greater detail. If he's going to spend 4 rounds quoting four lines quoting an author or a source, probably you should spend longer than that, or as long as that, talking about the significance of the source. So he kind of falls short a little bit there. But again, this is a very well conceived piece. Lots of thought and energy certainly went into it. Interestingly, he pairs these philosophical, I should say, arguments with some delving into some actual scientific experiments that bring up the possibility of the existence of something like a philosopher's stone. So, again, to support his thesis, it's right here. Dr. Clavo, and then this, he gives a running acknowledgement. Remember, a running acknowledgement is in a positive phrase that essentially acknowledges the credentials of the source that you're quoting, right? So that's what he does here very nicely, going into the source, talking about how this particular scientist said, deals perhaps with the potentiality of a philosopher's stone and so forth. Again, just spend some time reading through this piece. It's very nicely put together, despite the types of errors that I've indicated here. Now, if you look at the references, these are MLA, and the MLA is more or less correct, aside from the some errors with the nope, actually it is correct. No, the MLA is correct. I would caution, though, that in a subject like this, probably the appropriate citation system, or more appropriate citation, would have been APA, depending on who the intended audience is for this. Okay, but again, very, very nicely put together piece. I would recommend that you look through this again. This is basically a little over 3-page paper, very, very dense, very tightly written. He's got a number of sources here. This is a respectable number of sources. These are very good sources. These are clearly, for the most part, either pulled from print material or pulled from the databases. Do have one issue here. If you note, this is actually APA. This is an APA source citation. Should have used MLA, because in fact that's what these are, right? So again, consistency. But as far as the quality of the writing, this is a very nice piece. So again, take a look at this and read through it and see how you might affect some of those techniques in your own writing. Okay, thanks for watching. Talk to you later.